What is happening, patrons? This one has been a long time overdue, but I always said it was coming, it was going to happen, and I knew that eventually it would happen on the Patreon. MF Doom, food, food, food. I'm going to go for that. What more needs to be said? Listen, I got my coffee, I've got my lyrical head on, which I need because last album reactions I did was MGK, didn't need to think about that. And Bryson Tiller, didn't really need to think about that in a lyrical point of view. This will be different. If you're seeing this on YouTube and want to watch it in uncut form, which I would probably recommend, to be honest, that is there down in the Patreon link. And this was also on the Patreon weeks ago, along with 4 extra album reactions every single month, up to 8 extra track reactions every single month. More coming as well, different tiers on there. Please do check that out, the entire support structure for the channel. Guys, what more can I do? Let's go.
Here you will find food for your body, as well as comfort for your troubled mind. I'd really like some soup. Bread and butter.
There's no way you could get away with starting an album like this in 2020. People would just switch to something else, which is a shame.
To getting teeth capped or even a reef from armed dudes on some grief crap. I suggest to change the diet, starting back once arteries start to squeeze. Take the easy way out, phony. Until then, they know they wouldn't be talking that baloney in the bullpen.
Listen, I knew going in that this was going to be rhyme heavy to a different level. I've heard enough Doom now, even just through Mad Villainy and the odd little bit here and there. Outside of that, I knew that shit going in. But actually, this feels less complicated to understand than what was on Mad Villainy so far. It's just clever, the whole food metaphor. If this is going to be a food metaphor all the way through, obviously I'm talking about greasy, unhealthy foods with reference to the dangers of getting into beef. Obviously beef being a food as well. It can lead to high blood pressure if you fry it, or even a stroke, a heart attack. Heart disease ain't the starting back once arteries start to squeeze.
With the raw flesh, a rather ugly brother with flows that's gorgeous. Drop dead joints, hit the whips like bird shit. They need it like a hole in their head or a third tip. Her bra smell, his cards stop feeding babies colored sugar-coated large squares. The ard pierced.
Stop feeding babies coloured sugar-coated lard squares. It's a good point that stands today. Yeah, like I said, this is less difficult, for want of a probably more descriptive word, than Mad Villainy so far. It's actually quite easy to follow, relatively speaking.
And proceed to move the crowd like an old Negro spiritual. For a meal, do a commercial for Mellow Yellow. Bills and squilt for Halalville. $8 pill, dig the real. It's how the big ballers deal. Twirl a L.
Where did he start that rhyme scheme? Is it a cynical? I think you could argue it was a cynical, maybe even before that. Cynical, animal, vegetable, mineral, miracle, lyrical, spiritual, for a meal, commercial, devil, krill, pill, follow flea collar $3 bills, and squill for halal veal if you'll appeal. How's he do it?
Dirt on, at least a button up. Yuck. Is the rhymers are stripping males, out of work jerks since they shut down Chippendales. Spin bail, dip in jail, whipping tail and sipping ale, like the doobie till it glows.
I love listen, I love a bit of rap beef as long as it doesn't escalate into anything more than that, especially when it's clever, smart, or it unravels characters. But at the same time, what a way to say stop doing that. It's all well and good someone going on social media, not that existed back in 2004, and saying, yeah, I don't think we should do this anymore, talking about it in an interview. He's talking about, why are you doing this? It's for show. This is what we should be doing. It should be about the rhymes. It should be about the bars. It should be about the skill level. So all rappers, shut up with the shutting up and keep your shirt on, or at least a button up. Yuck, is the rhymers or stripping males out of work jerks since they shut down Chippendales. I mean, that's savagery. Shit, man. I got beatboxing. I was obsessed with beatboxing. Back when I was like 19, 20 years old. Killer Kel, Razel. Obsessed. I had that Razel record. I used to play it all the time. I used to try and do it myself. I'm not going to do it now. Used to be obsessed with it. Kind of a dying art. Dead art. You don't really hear much of it anymore.
It's like King Cooper. On the microphone, he flossed the ring. Average MCs is like a TV blooper. MF Doom, he's like DB Cooper. Some say it's the eyes, some say the accent. A lot of guys wonder where their stacks went. I call her Thunder Thighs with the fatty swoller.
Can't really compete with this if you were trying to out-rap him, couldn't you? It's just, I don't even know how you'd even begin. I know so many people influenced by him, Joey Badass, other people, MF Doom, Sweatshirt, Tyler, etc, etc, etc. But it just sounds so fucking effortless. But then when you go back in, like the rhyme schemes are just, I mean, I'm talking obvious shit, right? People know this. I'm not trying to tell anybody anything new. And for you, like, understand that through this record. I'm not trying to tell anybody anything new. This is just how I'm contextualizing it to myself. But just on a track that, basically, if you listen to it, is a fairly easy track to follow in terms of what he's talking about. But the depth of it, I mean, he called himself DB Cooper at one point. Average MCs is like a TV blooper. MF Doom, he's like DB Cooper. That's just a fucking cool thing to say, and it's not something you need to pick apart with a million rhymes in it.
Bag you when she's on the rag, never let her fry the ragu. Would you have you under some type of spell, crying dag boo? Her name on your back in a tattoo. For extra rec, let him know how you feel. And while he's running down to All-Star Weekend to ball, I'm coming with the U-Ball.
So now MF Doom's coming to nick everything.
I nicked it
From his rivals or something like that. That switched it up. It's almost like that track Lil Wayne and Kendrick. What's that track called? Mona Lisa. Fucking good track that.
and I do it again. Goodbye. Cordon bleu, stand up, get up, lunge for your knife. Don't forget your pothole.
Love this beat, man. Awesome beat. Tyson is a foul holocaust. I didn't realise Tyson was in reference to like a food brand. Like I was sitting there trying to figure out what the fuck he was talking about. But obviously I'm English. We don't have that here.
MCs is crabs in the barrel past the Old Bay. Hot as hell and it's a cold day in it. Working on a way that we can roll away tinted. Some say the price of holding heat is often too high. You need to hold horses. It's bigger fish to fry. You're on the list. If not...
Beat, man, the flow on this one. This is just such a listenable track. I'm just enjoying it.
When I was 4, I penned God, was born in New York back in 77. Still got Nan in the crescent, my beacon. I make music every weekend. It's a chore, a fact of life, a labor of love. I get mad love, but I detest the labor.
Count Basie, you never heard of the guy, but yeah, almost as lyrically complex as Doom, perhaps even more so. It was actually difficult to understand what he was saying because it was sort of so wrapped up in metaphor. Good track, that, man.
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. Rappers screaming all in our ears like we're deaf. Tempt me, do a number on a label. Beat up all the MCs and drink them under the table like it's on me.
I saw at the top of the Genius. Obviously, I've got the Genius open for this because, I mean, why else would I do it? But yeah, Madlib on this one, I recognise this sample, but you can tell Madlib straight away, just the craziness, the creativity in the production.
Photograph of derriere red to wide load. This yard bird tastes like fried toad, turd, love villain. Take pride in code words. I know he's not too fly to ski in the squeeze of eye and squeeze a thigh.
This one, obviously, for obvious reasons, reminds me more of Mad Villainy because it's just fucking insane in terms of the lyrics and the beat is mental. Okay, that's a beat switch.
And what about Smoke? You're nothing but a chicken head.
Man, I'd like to have heard that beat spit over, to be honest. That second beat was hard. Crazy song, to be honest. Crazy track.
Just so you can feel me like a steel knife. At least so you can see the white of their eyes. Bright with surprise once they finish spitting lies. Some money, others make us laugh like the Sunday funnies. Fan be around whether you pay or bummy. You can either ignore this advice or take it from me.
He's taking this rhyme for a walk, I can tell already. Associated your boys, your girls, bitches, homies, close but really don't know me. Mum, dad, come around, Pete's brothers, sisters, duns, dunnies. Some come around when they need some money. Others make us laugh like the Sunday funnies. It's gonna go on and on and on and on and on.
Back bleeding from the stab wounds. Y'all know the dance. They smile in your face. Y'all know they glance. Try to put them on, they blow the chance. #1 killer among black folk. Fellas be under some type of spell like crack smoke. Ghetto Cinderellas lead them right to your stack lope.
Fucking awesome track, this. Awesome track. Spitting truth, but doing it in a way that's just incomparable. Crazy weird beat from like the fucking 80s or 70s too.
I first met Mr. Fantastic at an arms deal. Don't let it get drastic. Think of how your moms will feel.
First met Mr. Fantastic at an arms deal. He's talking about, I don't know if Mr. Fantastic's real or a character within this, but obviously Mr. Fantastic has the stretchy arms in Fantastic Four, mate.
$10 say they tell for a lower sentence and leave you up under the jail begging for repentance. It don't make no sense. What happened to the loyalty?
The way he's fucking winding the sample in there as well is genius. This so far for me the best track so far. MF Doom is doing that and I can't even say one sentence. Personally, I will kill a lot of the skits and these long extended beat parts, but I understand that's just like part of Doom's aesthetic. This is of a slightly different era as well. I'm sure people were taking these sections of beats and using them to spit over themselves, and the skits are part of it. I just want to hear the music, to be honest.
Guarded by a fighting force that never sleeps, that never relaxes its vigilance. For none is as feared, none has as many foes through their domain.
I tripped a lot out here in the woods lately. This is a platter of... This makes an exceptionally good... Gotta watch your gums on this, but it's very good. It's very healthy.
Not perfect for every situation, but edible wrappers could actually beef up your next meal.
Saying about now, how in the world does that old fella eat all of that crazy stuff?
No part of me is enjoying all this bollocks. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just wankery, to be honest. Get back to the music.
Boom. Poison. That's right.
And this beat is fire, but just get me back to the tunes, man.
Darker than the East River, larger than the Empire State, where the beast who guard the barbed wire gate is on the job, not my fate. Tired of the wait till the villain bring deliverance from the dire straits. Fire at a higher rate to steal stunner, a fun of summer, #1 meal deal bummer.
Try scatter by a plate, isolate the wires, try the straight pliers, if not the vice grips. A real price saver way to acquire nice whips. What a steal for real on wheels of steel. Has anybody talked about stealing a fucking car, hot wiring a car like that before?
Fast Ramadan, transacts on drama. Come on, Barney. Clack, clack, pardon me. Whack, rap, Concarney. At the Cali was the wilder than the Nile. Hold power like the Great Pyramids of Giza and stay leaning like the Tower of Pisa. Worsening into heat bursting.
Jesus.
They couldn't spot him on a spot date. Got the only tape that come with a free hot plate.
This is outrageous. Outrageous rapping.
Kilimanjaro, if they don't know, fill him in tomorrow on the horror show. A mental note, return Bob's record. Swear to God before he gets the job.
He's threatening to finish a line, to finish a bar, and then just walking the rhyme into the next bar. It sounds effortless. It's incomprehensible how difficult it must be to fucking do that and write it and keep all of those rhymes folded back through all the things. I love those highlight things where they go through and they do this rhyme rhymes with this and they do it all in the different colours. You know what I mean? I love all of that shit because you're like, how?
It's too futuristic for ballistics and far too eccentric for forensics. I dedicate this mix to Sub Rock, the hip hop Hendrix.
So this was a tribute to his brother, right? Mental song. I'd need to go back through and process all of those lyrics. Just the rhyme schemes were too crazy. I like the simple but elegant beat as well. Brilliant track.
If I persist in refusing him, even now.
Shaitan never came so ill, he got skill. Met a brother from the grill that gave my spine chills. All 33 nerves, controlling my curves. Common sense just swerved every time I got served. The intentions out of here, sister was missing. Intuition, maybe it was me, I could.
His beat's outstanding, and Angelica. I haven't heard of Angelica before. She's got bars. No surprise, I'm sure he's not letting anyone on his record who can't spit to a high level.
Should've deaded it from Genesis instead of hitting the Guinnesses. Now I'm free falling, cursing, matching, street brawling. He sees a man sacrifice a whole life for a slice. Overstand? Maybe it's a lack of pigment. Loneliness, imagine figment. Only got the car kitted to pull extra cheese in it. Damn, I don't think.
Nah, she's fucking amazing, and this beat is just driving me crazy, man. I love it. This is a standout track, and it doesn't appear to even have Doom on it.
Give it a sec for the pain to start. This wreck right here, it ain't for the faint of heart. They thought they saw the worst verse from the team of G-men who seem like nerds at first. Once they get to know us, people dig us. Leaders in the fight for equal rights for niggas. The better of the more demented the flow, no doubt it. Just go for it if you're about it, or ride it. Whatever's clever, the masterful.
Have no fear, the ninja here. Feeling like the tinge in your ear from drinking ginger beer. What the fuck? How can you write something so clever, so evocative, that makes you feel, okay, yeah, I know that fucking feeling, yeah, that is listening to him, I'm feeling like that, okay, yeah. And it all rhymes like that with all of those rhymes? Fucking outrageous. And it's funny, and it's weird, and it's witty, it's quirky.
It's loose, so wild you couldn't chase it down with straight fruit juice. Crown like the first time you taste couscous. Stash the deuce. Troops asking truce. Train the same brain to an insane train of thought. On a campaign trail he came to gain your support. Charge cash for an autograph.
Hey, some of the songs on this record are just so good and so brilliant that I can't even compute them. This is what happened at the end of Mad Villainy. It was like my brain is not capable in one listen of taking this all in. And that's the same here. We just had this weird interlude section in the middle, but definitely we're back at it. Maybe people love that interlude section in the middle, but like some of these tracks, almost all of these tracks are just ridiculous.
It would be awfully rude of you. Now get back to your hootie hoo. Damn it, it ain't worth the drama, can it? From the calm bandit, eat rhymes like pomegranate. Soon as he stepped in, he lit the room. In love with Mary Jane, she's my main thing. Pulled her right from that web head, what a lame brain. Maintain and say it, don't spray it. You want
I'm 90 lyrics behind, but that fucking Mary Jane one just blew my mind. In love with Mary Jane, she's my main thing. Pulled it right from that webhead, what a lame brain. Obviously, he's MF Doom, Dr. Doom, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Mary Jane, marijuana, the webhead being Spider-Man again. But he's talking potentially about his own brain and how it's changed it. I mean, what am I supposed to do with this information?
Learn to neck off a home wrecker. This was back when he was like crib age. When he hit the stage, it's like a gauge to the rib cage.
Fucking amazing.
Fuck, man. Niggas running their mouth. Telling everything. Rap snitches, telling all their business. Sit in the court and be their own star witness.
Different uses of guitar and the production and the beats on this record, man. I'm loving it. Here, just like a wailing electric guitar. Gorgeous. Mr. Fantastic, clearly an actual person. Got confused earlier on. Can't blame myself. Not going to blame myself. Because it's a confusing record.
True to the ski mask, New York's my origin. Play a fake gangster like an old accordion. According to him, when the D's rushed in, complications.
Nice. Accordion reference in there.
Rule the world with tears for fear. Yeah, tell it on the mountain hill. Running up their mouth bill. Everybody doubting still.
Enjoyable track.
You hear it in his sleep sometimes. Blare it in your Jeep so your peoples can stare at them rhymes. Real rhymes, not your everyday hologram. Even when ribs was touching, never swallowed the ham. In the street without any shoes. I guess it's better than some funky socks. You need to get her some skips before she catch the monkey pox. Instead she wanna hit a beatbox. Oratory glorious like a horror story. The mask.
Sing it. Bring it back to your laboratory while he's in his oratory glorious like a horror story.
Plead the fifth, sip wine stiffly. Patiently come up and be spiffy in a jiffy. Gift for the grind, criminal mind shifty. Say he stay self-medicated to sleep later. Side effects are similar to sugar pill. Whoever go next.
How did we go from this to Lil Keed? Really, what happened?
One little evening alone home, end up with carpal tunnel syndrome. And here I am, known for giving heavy backaches, grown and living off a little Debbie snack cakes. Locked in, looking at your picture. You fully clothed winter and I'm right there with you. Thinking about the last time I split your wishbone. A man could only wish you do the same till he get home.
Is he just referencing loads of fucking American cookies that I don't understand? Because if so, let's and liken them all to women. Because there's brilliance there, obviously. But I don't know what most of these cookies are. Because I'm goddamn rich. Like MF Doom. Full circle.
I did watch a bet on jazz for knowledge on file. Every other commercial, college hoes going wild. Soft batch, I prefer the other bunch like we got for lunch. Chocolate fudge, butter crunch, saltines or Triscuits. Matzos or Cheez-Its. Catch sugar fits every time that he sees. Chips Ahoy, double chocolate chunk.
It's almost like he just set himself a challenge. Can I make an amazing track talking kind of nonsense about different types of biscuits? And the answer is yes. Obviously and clearly and unsurprisingly, yes.
What are you doing?
That might seem ill.
Go wash your hands.
He must be mad.
No, if anyone can do it. Nevertheless, let's get out of here while we can.
That was fucking mad. It really was mad. That last track just kind of summed up how mad it was. It didn't spin me out in the same way that Mad Villainy did. If you go back and watch that reaction, I've not watched my own reaction to that for a long time. I've not actually listened to that record in a while as well, as I haven't really... It just hasn't happened, but I'm going to go back and listen to it, maybe even today, just to see what my sort of second reaction... Well, just to see what my kind of current reaction is to that. The beats on that one are just so crazy, and I feel like that was a little more difficult to get into, a bit more experimental. Not that this isn't. But these are all very listenable tracks, right? You can just sit there and listen to them and just kind of enjoy the flow, and the rhymes just kind of wash over you. But when you go into it a little deeper, obviously you're just kind of mind blown. Well, I certainly am anyway. All the craziness and interludes and the skits and the little breaks and everything like that. Some of it reminded me of avalanches from back in the day, etc, etc, etc. I take it, you know, stuff like that tends to work better, I think, when you're smoking. And if you know me and know my channel, I haven't smoked weed since 15 years, man. It doesn't agree with me. And one of the reasons it doesn't agree with me is it makes me overthink like a madman. And I know that is generally one of the things it does to people. But for me, it's fucking crazy. I'd be stuck on individual lines on this album, individual fucking rhyming couplets for like 10 minutes at a time. Plus, then I think everyone in the world hated me as well. So that's another story for another time. But yeah, even without unbelievable stuff, phenomenal, mind-blowing rapper, but also really listenable songs. I think that's the important thing to say here. Some of it was a little bit like self-wankery, that skit section in the middle. You know, on future listens, that'll be instantly skipped unless there are some Easter eggs there that I'm missing out on. You guys can tell me about that. But just in terms of the tracks, let's go back through them real quick. I mean, Potholders, all of them. Deep Fried Friends was outstanding. Konkani, Guinness's was a surprise considering he wasn't on it. Queso, Cookies at the end there, Vomit Spit. Yeah, I mean, just track after track after track after track. And on future listens, there's going to be lines that I didn't catch first time. Even with the lyrics open, that's the crazy thing about Doom. I've got the lyrics open on all of this. I'm kind of reading along, which I wouldn't do if I was just listening to it for my own pleasure. But for the purposes of this video, if I don't do that, I miss almost all of it. And I actually don't appreciate it as much as I do with the lyrics open. So you can say it's right or wrong for doing that. But even with that, there's so much that I missed. So much that I missed. And I wasn't even clicking on any of it. Obviously, almost every single line is clickable. I'm just allowing my own brain to try and interpret as much of it as possible. But it wasn't as deep and dense, I don't think, as Mad Villainy lyrically. Oh, I'm MF Doom. It was fairly easy to follow, and you know, when there were double entendres, they were quite open. They were fairly easy to understand. They were more just there. He wanted you to understand them, right? That's what I'm feeling from this record. He wanted you to consume the slickness. It's food. It's food for your soul. It's food for thought. But it's just he is on this level, but he wants you to understand it. You're not gonna have to work too hard to appreciate this record. Thank you so much to all of you guys for finally getting this to the top of the poll. I knew it was going to happen. I knew some of you were massively after it. Aaron Roberts, you've been hassling me for this record for a year, but it's happened, man. It's happened. We got there in the end. Thank you very much. If you've seen this on YouTube and you want to see this uncut, including all the skits, that is there on my Patreon $5 tier, link down in the description. Please do subscribe to the channel. If by now, if you've seen this on YouTube, I think we're probably over 200k by now, because it'll take a few weeks to get there from Patreon. If you've seen this on Patreon today, we're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. Crazy times. Thank you very much for watching. I've been John Denton. I need to lie down for a minute. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.